What a night for the Habs. Joshua Roy scores his first in the NHL, Caufield with a goal and assist, and of course, Juraj Slafkovsky potting a goal in his second straight game. It doesn't get any better than this. That plus, we got a stat showing that Slaf is on pretty phenomenal pace compared to some other guys who were drafted. And a final note on David Reinbacher, and something that Arber said that might be a little surprising. So we got all that to break down on this episode of Habs Digest. But before we get into the video, guys, we're proud to say that this video is sponsored by Rentals.ca. That's right, they're back, and moves are coming with all the rumors and reports that have been coming out about the Habs. Fans have been expecting for Kent Hughes to make some big shakeups to the roster, which should definitely be exciting for us. And if you feel like the Habs and need some extra excitement in your life, then it's time to move. And Rentals.ca has you covered. They are Canada's largest apartment hunting network. You can rent houses, apartments, condos, whatever you want,
from coast to coast in this beautiful country of ours. As you can see, one of the best things about rentals.ca is that their website, really clean, really easy to use. As you can see, they have really great maps that are really intuitive. All you need to go is really search the area of your selection, the neighborhood of your choice, what you're really looking for in your favorite city, and find amazing listings just right there.
Exactly, and shout out to Rentals.ca. They are huge Habs fans, and as you guys know, if you've been longtime watchers, they are big supporters of the channel. So if you want to support us, and if it's time to move for you, make sure you check out Rentals.ca down in the description or pinned comment below, and let them know that we sent you. But without further ado, Jesse, it's time to talk about this game, and I'm so thrilled. That was one of the more exciting games of the season. Now, we got a bit of a scare in that early third period after Suzuki took a double minor off an inadvertent high stick at the end of the second. New Jersey scored back-to-back power play goals at the start of the third, but Montreal was able to rally, get that final goal in the last 5 minutes from Caufield to extend his goal streak to 3. I'll put up the box score. As always, feel free to pause. There's a lot to talk about here. But I think the first thing we got to talk about is the first goal in the NHL for Joshua Roy. His first shift on the ice tonight, Jesse. Man, was it a good one. And he just looked good from the second he stepped foot on the ice to the second he scored his goal off a beautiful feed from Sean Monahan, who dragged the defender and the goalie out of the net. I was so impressed with Roy tonight. I saw he had so much chemistry with Monahan. I don't know. He looks like a really exciting player.
Joshua Roy was looking dangerous every single time he was out on the ice. And I just love this move by Kent Hughes and Martin St. Louis of bringing him up to the big club. Like, we needed offense, and right away, just in his third game, he's already contributing, right? And I feel like he can do this. He can be this type of player for us. And the question now is asked in the future is like, this seems like this is a player that has like a very high floor. What's going to be his ceiling? That's going to really be the question going forward. But I think he provides that perfect spark of what we need. Great to see him with playing such confidence, such a creative, intelligent player. So really something that the Habs were missing, and a very welcome addition.
Yeah, like his first game, you kind of saw like he didn't look out of place at all, but he looked like he was playing catch up every now and then. But now as the games go on, like he feels a little more comfortable, a little more confident every single night. And now tonight, it was like he was one of the better players on his line every time he stepped out there. Like he's already, now super small sample size, of course, but already looks like a solid middle six guy, which is just amazing. So shout out to Joshua Roy, amazing game. Talk about Caufield too before we get into our boy Juraj, because you know we got to talk about him. Stick around for that. We got a lot to talk about on the subject of Juraj Slafkovsky. But Caufield, Jesse, goal in his third straight game, extends his point streak to 4. He had 2 points tonight, a beautiful assist to Slaf, and that game-winning goal with less than 5 minutes left in the third off a beautiful little like scramble in front of the net where Monahan does a little tip pass over to Caufield for the empty net. Phenomenal game from him again, and on an off night from Suzuki, it was great that his line mates could pick up the slack. And yeah, I know it's weird. Is it a coincidence that Kent Hughes came out and said, hey, look at Caufield's shooting percentage. That's not sustainable. It's going to go up. Ever since Kent Hughes said that, Caufield's been on a roll. I feel like he's finally hitting his stride, Jesse, and I think it's going to be tough to stop him.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see a very good second half of the season for him. I think he's going to really torch it up. And that's what's so nice is that this first line, in a lot of ways, is kind of carrying the torch for this team, which is what you want to see. Caufield, like, how beautiful was that assist knocking out of the air? And then when Slaf was talking about the intermission, he said, Caufield is a nasty player. Like, you need to expect those type of things. Like, what a perfect way to describe Caufield. He's nasty. He's sick. He's such a great player, right? And playing that key role when maybe Nick Suzuki's having a little bit of an off night, that Caufield can kind of come in. That's what makes for a very good, effective first line, is even if maybe one guy's maybe not having the best night if those other two guys, can really pick up the slack, in that case really helps so much. So, I mean, amazing to see, and our boy Slaf being really huge once again here tonight.
Yeah, it's a great transition to talk a bit more about Slaf, too. Of course, Monahan had 2 assists. Shout out to him. Shout out to Montembeault again. I'll flash it up. He had a phenomenal game again. 28 saves on 30 shots. Unreal, this guy in his last few games. Oh, my goodness. One of the best goalies in the NHL over the past few weeks. No joke. The stats say the same. But it's time to talk about Slaf. And oh my goodness, that little feed from Caufield, you can see Caufield bat that out of the air to the front of the net. Slaf right there for the one-timer to pot it home. Goal in 2 straight games for him. And Jesse, he has just been, these past, I don't know, since he's been on the first line, since I think December 4th, 13th game or something on the first line now, he has been unreal. Now, we got some interesting stats to dive into after this, but what did you think of his game tonight? Because I thought, again, like, just that confidence, he's gaining his balance more and more every single game, winning these board battles, and it just feels like when the puck is on his stick, winning plays are made. He had one pass, a cross-ice pass in the offensive zone from one hash mark to the other, Suzuki, and it was too hot for Suzuki to handle. It's exactly what you want to see, right? Like, you want to see these hard passes cross the ice. Like, he's just starting to do all the little things right, and this might be the start of a nice little streak for him where we really start seeing the points rolling.
Yeah, my bro, my guy, Juraj, having an amazing night tonight. We got to cue the Slafzilla animation.
Oh,
You got
do I
that
have
ready,
it?
Josh?
Do I have it?
After a game
No, I
like
don't.
Tonight,
I don't have it.
We're getting it rolling really soon because he deserves it, right? And it's just kind of so nice that we can come to really expect this, from him, and what I like is just, he knows what he needs to do for this team. Even just the other night, he was kind of asked, he's like, yeah, I'm getting my chances, but I need to score on them. And it's funny that ever since he said that, later on that day, he goes to score a goal, and then today kind of backing it up again, so, it just makes sense, right? He kind of had to earn getting on that first line. But now that he has, the production is just kind of going through the roof. So really amazing just to see his progression right now.
For sure. And we actually got some other stuff to talk about on the subject of Slaf, and it's his pace. Like, we have talked a lot about, his slow start, and a lot of people like to compare him to some other players. And actually, one that I saw just recently was now that Slaf has played his first 82 games in the NHL, he actually came out and said, he's like, in these 82 games, I've seen the progression, and I'm hoping the next 82 are even better. But some people compared his first 82 to Jack Hughes' first 82, a guy that we saw tonight on the New Jersey Devils. And the point production is not that far off between the two. 9 goals, 17 assists for Slaf in his first 82, 12 goals, 22 assists for Jack Hughes. Now, they are very different players, as you can see from some of the other stats, like shots on goal. Slaf's shooting percentage is higher. But Slaf's blocked shots and hits way, way, way higher. Again, that's because he's more of a power forward compared to Hughes, who is more of a skilled player who doesn't necessarily give as much defensively as Slafkovsky could. But I don't even think it's this one that's necessarily the most interesting, Jetsy. It's when you compare Slaf to someone like Quinton Byfield, the guy we've seen on LA a couple times this year. Slaf is actually on a better pace than Quinton Byfield was at this same age after 82 games as well. And Quinton Byfield is now finally breaking out for the Kings, and it seems like, big guys take a while to break out, but the fact that, when you compare the point production to Jack Hughes, and it's not that far off, and then you look at his stats, is actually better than Byfield during the same time frame. It's like, again, for all these people who are saying, like, oh, like these Sportsnet people saying it needs to be on the 4th line AHL, it's like, it'll take time, and I understand people saying the NHL is not a development league, but it doesn't matter, because he's making a big impact on that first line, and I don't see any reason for it to stop anytime soon.
No, we've definitely been seeing it. That's for sure. What is really interesting to note is that, like, he's just behind, Hughes right now, but while still, arguably having so much of a better defensive game, right? So it's amazing to see not too far behind the points production, arguably affecting both sides of the puck in such a strong way. It's just, again, such a big reminder for all of us that we really can't judge a player based off their first 82 games. It's really not a fair sample size. You really need to get more time. We just see example after example. And to be honest, I'm so happy to be seeing Hughes, to be seeing Byfield, and now, Juraj Slafkovsky turning the corner, right? These high draft picks, right? They're selected high for a reason. These scouts know what they're doing, right? So it's up for them to put in the work from there. But I mean, Juraj's just been doing all the right things, right? And it makes sense that, it took a little bit of time, but now that he's going to on that first line, expect to see his production just continue exponentially here from this point out. And it kind of makes sense. You need to earn it. Now, once he's there, we're really going to see the points coming. So really excited to see that.
Yeah, 100%. Tonight was cool too because he got to play alongside the second overall pick, Simon Nemec on New Jersey, who had a decent game for himself too. So it was really cool to see those Slovakians number 1 and 2. And hey, maybe someday soon we'll see Mesar on the Habs. We'll see a lot more Slovakians around the NHL. But right now, Juraj seems to be the face of Slovak hockey. So there's a lot of great stuff to talk about there. But let's transition into a different Habs draft pick. And, we've talked a bit about Reinbacher. This is just a final thing we wanted to touch on before the video's over, but I recommend you guys stick around for we've talked a lot about him. But Arber Basu, of course, was in Switzerland. Now, there's a lot more to this than what I'm going to talk to you about, and I really highly suggest you go check out this on your own because I might be missing some context. I don't believe I am, but just in case, as always, I highly suggest you go listen to this 15-minute clip on BPM Sport. But Basu said ça ferait du bien à David Reinbacher de jouer en Amérique du Nord. He believes it do Reinbacher some good to play in North America. And, his situation in Clutton is just not good. The team is not good. There's been management and coaching turnover. There's been all kinds of bad stuff. But Reinbacher's still the guy there. But at the same time, at this point, I think being in North America, being with Laval, being in the Habs system will do him a lot of good, Jesse. And I'm seeing a lot of people say bring him over as soon as possible. And it's seeming like, look, we kind of already figured he'd be coming over at the end of the season. But now I feel like it's basically a certainty that he's going to be over here as soon as he possibly can be.
It's interesting. I don't know. I might preach some patience when it comes to David Reinbacher just because we got so many defense, that is coming out of the woodwork right now. But, the thing about being on a really bad Cloten team as a young defenseman is it gives you a lot of practice at defending, right? So that is the good thing. Kind of, being under that adversary, kind of having a lot of pressure, making some plays, right? That's what it's all about, right? As a defenseman, that's one of the most important things. I think we know he's got that offensive skill, just kind of refining that defensive game even more, and everything else. So I am excited to see him here, but we haven't always been the most patient with our prospects, kind of the past of moving him up the ranks. I'm excited as well. I definitely want to see him, and he will be here sooner than later. But I think we still just got to give him just a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's fair too. Habs management, and I'm just going to take their word for it too. It's like I get excited, right? I want to see these guys play first, but you're very right. Traditionally, the Habs have maybe rushed some prospects, but we'll see. I also saw some comments saying Reinbacher's a second-round pick at best. The dude's still a teenager playing in the Swiss. We gotta chill with some of these comments I'm seeing about Slaf and Reinbacher. It's like, let him get to like 22 years old first. Like, dude, we're still 3 years away from that. We're still 3 years away from these guys, from Slaf and Reinbacher being 22 years old. So relax for now. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to. The next few years are going to be very, very fun for Habs fans. But for now, that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 15,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do it now. We have daily Habs content, and you'll enjoy every single second of it. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.